Are you ready to crush the CISA exam and level up IT audit game? You are in the right place. In this video, I have put together 30 high quality CISA practice questions to help you get exam ready with confidence. But we are not just stopping at the answers, we are breaking down key concepts with clear explanation to lock in your understanding. Whether you are just starting out or brushing up for test day, this video will give you the edge you need to succeed. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join our community of future certified professionals. Let's get started. Question number 91. What type of BCP test, that is business continuity plan test, uses actual resources to simulate a system crash and validate the plan's effectiveness? And the options are option A, paper, option B, preparedness, option C, walkthrough, and option D, parallel. And the correct option is option B, preparedness test. So a preparedness test, also called a simulation test, involves simulating a real system crash or disaster scenario using actual resources, that is people, systems, and processes, to test the effectiveness of business continuity plan. It checks how well the organization can respond to and recover from an actual incident in a controlled manner. Here is a quick comparison of other BCP test types. Option A, paper test, is a desk-based review of the plan without any actual simulation. B, preparedness test, simulates a real-world event with full resource involvement. C, walkthrough, staff verbally go through their roles and responsibility. And the D, parallel, backup systems are run in parallel with primary systems but not used in live operations. So, preparedness testing is the most realistic and resource intensive option, closely mimicking an actual disaster. Question number 92. What type of a major BCP, business continuity plan test, only requires representatives from each operational area to review the plan? Option A, parallel, option B, preparedness, option C, walkthrough, and option D, paper. And the correct option is option C, walkthrough. So a walkthrough test, also known as a tabletop test, involves representatives from each operational area coming together to review and discuss the business continuity plan. The goal is to validate the accuracy and completeness of the plan, ensure all participants understand their roles, and identify any gaps or inconsistencies in procedure. No actual systems are used or interrupted during the test. It is purely a discussion based exercise. Why the other options are incorrect? Option A, parallel, involves running backup system in parallel with production system to test functionality. Option B, preparedness, is a simulation test that uses actual resources to practice disaster response. And option D, paper, is a basic document review by individual without a group meeting or interaction. Question number 93. What influences decisions regarding the criticality of assets? Option A, the business criticality of the data to be protected. Option B, internal corporate politics. Option C, the business criticality of the data to be protected and the scope of the impact upon the organization as a whole. So this word is impact. And option D, the business impact analysis. And the correct option is option C, the business criticality of the data to be protected and the scope of the impact upon the organization as a whole. So, when determining the criticality of assets, decision makers must consider number one, the business criticality of the data or service, that is, how essential it is to the functioning and objective of the organization. Number two, the scope of the impact. What would be the effect on the entire organization if the assets were compromised, lost, or unavailable? For example, financial loss, reputational damage, or regulatory issues. These factors ensure that organization protects what's most important and allocates resources wisely. Why other options are not the best? Option A, the business criticality of the data to be protected. This is only part of the picture. It does not consider organizational wide impact. Option B, internal corporate politics. While this might influence decisions in practice, it is not a valid or recommended basis for determining assets criticality. And option D, the business impact analysis, also known as BIA. The BIA is a tool that helps assess criticality but is not itself a factor that influences it. It informs the decisions, not defines it. Question number 94. Of the three major types of off-site processing facilities, what type is characterized by at least providing for electricity and HVAC? HVAC is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And the options are option A, cold site, option B, alternate site, option C, hard site, and option D, warm site. And the correct option is option A, cold site. So a cold site is a type of off-site processing facility that number one provides basic infrastructure such as electricity, HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning and physical space. Number two does not include hardware, software, or data. These must be brought in and configured before use. And number three is the least expensive but also takes the longest to become operational during disaster. Why the other options are incorrect? Option B, alternate site, is a general term that could refer to a hot, warm, or cold site. It is not specific. Option C, hard site, is fully equipped with hardware, software, and up-to-date data, ready to take over operations immediately. And option D, warm site, partially equipped, some hardware and some data, more readiness than a cold site but less than a hard site. Question number 95. Of the three major type of off-site processing facility, what type is often an acceptable solution for preparing for the recovery of non-critical systems and data? So the keyword here is non-critical system and data. And the options are option A, cold side, option B, hard side, option C, alternate side, and option D, warm side. And the correct option is again option A, cold side. So a cold side is often considered an acceptable and cost-effective solution for recovering non-critical system and data because it provides only basic infrastructure like power, HVAC, and space. It does not have hardware or current data pre-installed, and it requires more time to become operational, making it unsuitable for critical systems but adequate for less time sensitive functions. Why the other options are incorrect? Option B, hard side, is designed for mission critical systems. It is expensive but supports immediate failover. Option C, alternate side, a general term that can refer to cold, warm, or hard side but not distinct category. And option D, warm site, includes some pre-installed system and data, better than a cold site but still more costly and often used for moderately critical systems. Question number 96. Any changes in system assets such as replacement of hardware should be immediately recorded within the asset inventory of which of the following? Choose the best answer. Option A, IT strategic plan. Option B, business continuity plan. Option C, business impact analysis. And option D, incident response plan. And the correct option is option B, business impact analysis. So the business impact analysis or BCP includes an assets inventory that must be kept up to date to ensure that recovery and continuity strategies reflect the current environment. When system assets like hardware are changed or replaced, these updates should be immediately recorded in the BCP so that recovery procedures remain relevant, dependencies are correctly mapped, and resource requirements are accurately defined. Keeping the BCP current ensures effective response and recovery during a disruption. Why the other options are not the best? Option A, IT strategic plan focuses on long-term IT goals and direction, not operational asset tracking. Option C, business impact analysis used to identify critical processes and impacts, but it's not the place for ongoing assets updates. And option D, incident response plan deals with responding to security incidents, not with general asset management. Question number 97. Although BCP, that is Business Continuity Plan, and DRP, Disaster Recovery Plan, are often implemented and tested by middle management and end users, the ultimate responsibility and accountability for the plans remain with executive management, such as the fill in the blank. The options are option A, Security Administrator, option B, Systems Auditor, option C, Boards of Director, and option D, Financial Auditor. And the correct option is option C, Boards of Directors. So while middle management and end users are often responsible for implementing and testing business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan, the ultimate responsibility and accountability for ensuring the organization is prepared for disruption lies with the executive management, especially the board of directors. The board of directors is responsible for overseeing risk management and organizational resilience, ensuring that appropriate resources and governance structures are in place, and holding senior leadership accountable for preparedness and compliance. Why the other options are incorrect? Option A, Security Administrator implements and enforces security controls but does not hold ultimate responsibility or accountability. Option B, System Auditor reviews and evaluates controls but is not responsible for the plans. Option D, Financial Auditor focuses on financial statements and compliance, not continuity planning. Question number 98. Library control software restricts source code to option A, read only access, option B, write only access, option C, full access, and option D, read write access. And the correct option is option A, read only access. So library control software, often part of the configuration management or version control systems, is designed to protect the integrity of source code by restricting general users access to read only, preventing unauthorized or accidental modifications, allowing only authorized personnel, that is developers or release managers, to check out and modify code through controlled processes. And number 3, maintaining version history and enforcing change control policies. This ensures that only vetted and approved changes are made to the source code, which is crucial for maintaining system stability and security. Why the other options are incorrect? Option B, write only access is not practical. Users need to read the code to modify it. And option C, full access would allow unrestricted changes, undermining control and security. And option D, read-write access should only be granted selectively, not by default. Question number 99, when is regression testing used to determine whether new application changes have introduced any errors in the remaining unchanged code? Option A, in program development and change management. Option B, in program feasibility studies. Option C, in program development. And option D, in change management. And the correct option is option A, in program development and change management. And the explanation is, so regression testing is performed to ensure that new changes or updates to an application, such as bug fixes or feature additions, do not negatively affect existing unchanged functionality. This type of testing is crucial both number one, during program development as new code is written and integrated, and number two, during change management when updates are made to production systems. It ensures system stability after modifications and is key part of quality assurance. Why the other options are not best alone? Option B, in program feasibility studies focuses on whether a project is viable, not testing code. Option C, in program development, this is partially correct but does not include change management where regression testing is also critical. And option D, in change management, also partially correct but does not account for its use during initial development. Question number 100, what is often the most difficult part of initial efforts in application development? Choose the best answer. Option A, configuring software. Option B, planning security. Option C, determining time and resource requirements. And option D, configuring hardware. And the correct option is option C, determining time and resource management. So, in the initial stages of application development, the most difficult and critical task is often accurately estimating the time and resources needed for the project. This includes number one, time frames for development, testing, and deployment. Number two, human resources, that is, developers, testers, and project managers. Number three, budgeting for tools, infrastructure, and personnel. And number three, accounting for unexpected delays or scope creep. Incorrect estimates can lead to missed deadlines, budget overruns, and project failure, which is why it's considered one of the hardest early challenges. Why the other options are less suitable? Option A, configuring software is important but comes after planning and requirements gathering. Option B, planning security is crucial but part of overall planning and usually not as complex as estimating the time resources at the outset. And option D, configuring hardware is a more technical and predictable task, not as complex or uncertain as early stage estimation. Question number 101, what is a primary high level goal for an auditor who is reviewing a system development project? Option A, to ensure that programming and processing environments are segregated. Option B, to ensure that proper approval for the project has been obtained. Option C, to ensure that business objectives are achieved. And option D, to ensure that projects are monitored and administered effectively. And the correct option is option C, to ensure that business objectives are achieved. And the explanation is, so the primary high-level goal of an auditor reviewing a system development project is to ensure that the project aligns with and supports the achievement of business objectives While other options relate to control and governance, which are important, they serve the broader purpose of ensuring the system being developed ultimately meets business needs and adds value. Option A refers to technical controls, B is about project initial approval, and option D focuses on project management oversight, so only C reflects the auditor's strategic objective. Question number 102. Whenever an application is modified, what should be tested to determine the full impact of the change? Choose the best answer. Option A, interface systems with other applications or systems. Option B, the entire program including any interface systems with other applications or systems. Option C, all programs including interface systems with other applications or systems. And option D, mission critical functions and any interface systems with other applications or systems. And the correct option is option B, the entire program including any interface systems with other applications or system. So whenever an application is modified, the best practice is to perform regression testing on the entire program, not just the changed components. This ensures that number one, the changes have not inadvertently affected other parts of the system. Number two, all interface systems with other applications are still functioning correctly. Number three, hidden dependencies are logic flows that might break or caught early. Number four, A and D focus only on interface or mission critical functions, which is too limited. D suggests testing all programs, which is excessive and often impractical. B strikes the right balance by focusing on the entire affected program, including its interfaces. Question number 103. The quality of the metadata produced from a data warehouse is in the warehouse's design. Choose the best answer. Option A, often hard to determine because the data is derived from a heterogeneous data environment. Option B, the most important consideration. Option C, independent of the quality of the warehouse databases. And option D, of secondary importance to data warehouse content. And the correct option is option B, the most important consideration. So in data warehouse, metadata, that is data about data, is critical because it describes the structure, operations, sources, and meaning of the data, helps users understand, trust, and effectively use the data warehouse, and enables effective data governance, searchability, and analysis. Poor metadata leads to misinterpretation, errors, and lack of trust in the warehouse. Therefore, its quality is a top priority in the warehouse's design, making B the best answer. Question number 104, select true or false. Function point analysis, that is FPA, provides an estimate of the size of an information system based only on the number and complexity of a system's inputs and outputs. Option A, true, and option B, false. And the correct option is option B, false. So function point analysis or FPA estimates the size of an information system not only based on inputs and outputs, but also includes external inputs, that is EI, external outputs, that is EO, external inquiries, that is EQ, internal logical files, ILF, and external interface files, that is EIF. So these five components consider data movement and storage as well as complexity and interactions. Therefore, it's more comprehensive than just focusing on inputs and outputs, and hence the statement is false. Question number 105. Who assumes ownership of a system development project and the resulting system? Option A, user management. Option B, project steering committee. Option C, IT management. And option D, systems developers. And the correct option is option A, user management. So user management assumes the ownership of a systems development project because they are the primary stakeholder and end users of the system. They define the business requirements and ensure system meets operational needs. They are responsible for systems success, adoption, and benefits realization. Other roles, option B, project steering committee provides oversight and guidance. Option C, IT management supports development and maintenance. Option D, systems developers build the system but not own it. So ownership lies with the users who will ultimately use and rely on the system. Question number 106. If an IS auditor observes that individual modules of a system perform correctly in development project tests, the auditor should inform management of the positive results and recommend further. Option A, documentation development. Option B, comprehensive integration testing. Option C, full unit testing. And option D, full regression testing. And the correct option is option B, comprehensive integration testing. So even if individual modules pass their tests, this only proves they work in isolation. The real risk lies in how these modules interact with each other. That's why comprehensive integration testing is critical. It ensures system works as a whole and uncovers issues like data mismatches, timing problems, and logic conflicts that unit tests simply cannot detect. Option A, documentation is necessary but not urgent here. Option C, unit testing has already been done. That's what the auditor observed. And option D, regression testing is useful after changes, but before that, integration testing is key. So skipping integration testing is reckless. It invites unexpected failures in production, even if every single module looks fine on its own. Question number 107. True or false? When participating in a system development project, an IS auditor should focus on system controls rather than ensuring that adequate and complete documentation exists for all projects. Option A true and option B false, and the correct option is option B false. So while an IS auditor should certainly focus on system controls, they must also ensure that adequate complete documentation exists. Documentation is essential for maintaining system integrity and traceability, facilitating audits and reviews, supporting future maintenance and enhancements, and demonstrating compliance and accountability. So, a lack of documentation can make a well controlled system unverifiable and unsustainable. So, the auditor's role includes reviewing both control and documentation to ensure the overall effectiveness and auditability of the system. Hence, the statement is false. Question number 108. What is a reliable technique for estimating the scope and cost of a software development project? Option A, functional or function point analysis FPA. Option B, feature point analysis FPA. Option C, Gantt. And option D, PERT or PERT. And the correct option is option A, function point analysis or FPA. So function point analysis FPA is a reliable and standardized technique to estimate the size, scope, and cost of a software development project. It measures the functionality delivered to the user based on external inputs, external outputs, user interactions, files used, and interfaces. This functional size can then be used to estimate effort, time, and cost regardless of the programming language or technology. Question number 109. Which of the following is a program evaluation review technique that considers different scenarios for planning and control projects? Option A, function point analysis FPA. Option B, Gantt. Option C, rapid application development RAD. And option D, PERT. And the correct option is option D, PERT, PERT. So PERT or Program Evaluation Review Technique is a project management tool used for planning, scheduling, and controlling projects. It is especially useful because it considers multiple scenarios, optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely, helps in estimating project duration and identifying the critical path, is ideal for complex, uncertain projects where task duration can vary. Other options, option A, function point analysis estimates size and cost of software projects. Option B, Gantt is a visual tool for scheduling but does not analyze project scenarios. And option C, rapid application development, that is RAD, is a software development methodology focused on speed and not project evaluation. Thus, PERT is the correct answer for scenario-based project planning. Question number 110. What often results in a project scope creep when functional requirements are not defined as well as they could be? Option A, inadequate software baselining. Option B, insufficient strategic planning. Option C, inaccurate resource allocation. And option D, project delays. And the correct option is option A, inadequate software baselining. The project scope creep occurs when new features, requirements, or changes are introduced without proper control. This often happens when functional requirements are poorly defined and there is no solid baseline to measure changes against. Inadequate software baselining means that the original requirements, scope, or system specification were not formally documented or controlled. Without a clear baseline, it's hard to say what's a legitimate change versus what's the scope creep. Other options, option B, insufficient strategic planning affects alignment but not directly scope creep. Option C, inaccurate resource allocation leads to inefficiencies, not scope creep. And option D, project delays are usually a result, not a cause of scope creep. So the correct root cause related to poorly defined functional requirements is option A, inadequate software baselining. Question number 111. Run-to-run totals can verify data through which stages of application processing? Option A, initial. Option B, various. Option C, final. And option D, output. And the correct option is option B, various. So run-to-run totals are control totals used to verify that data remains complete and accurate as it moves through various stages of application processing. They help detect number 1, data loss, number 2, processing errors, number 3, unauthorized changes between stages, that is input, processing, and output. Option A, initial, option C, final, and option D, output are too narrow in scope. Option B, various, is the best answer because it reflects the continuous nature of this control across multiple processing stages. Question number 112, fill in the blank. Is are ultimately accountable for the functionality, reliability, and security within IT governance. Choose the best answer. Option A, data custodians. Option B, the board of directors and executive officers. Option C, IT security administration. And option D, business unit managers. And the correct option is option B, the board of directors and executive officers. So, in the context of IT governance, it is the board of directors and executive officers who are ultimately accountable for ensuring that IT aligns with business goals, overseeing the functionality, reliability, and security of IT systems, and marking high-level decisions related to risk management, resource allocation, and compliance. Other roles, that is option A, data custodians are responsible for implementing controls and handling data, not ultimate accountability. Option C, IT security administration handles technical security tasks but does not bear final responsibility. And option D, business unit managers may be accountable for operations but not enterprise wide IT governance. So, thus, the correct fill in the blank is the board of directors and executive officers are ultimately responsible or accountable for the functionality, reliability, and security within IT governance. Question number 113, what can be used to help identify and investigate unauthorized transactions? Choose the best answer. Option A, post-mortem review. Option B, reasonableness checks. Option C, data mining techniques. And option D, expert systems. And the correct option is option C, data mining techniques. So, data mining techniques are powerful tools for identifying patterns, anomalies, and trends within large data assets. They are especially effective at detecting unauthorized or suspicious transactions, highlighting unusual activity that may indicate fraud or errors, supporting investigation and analysis through pattern recognition. Other options, option A, post-mortem review, conducted after an incident, not proactive for identifying unauthorized transactions. Option B, reasonableness checks, useful but limited to predefined rules, may miss complex or hidden patterns. And option D, expert systems, rule-based systems that can support decisions but less flexible and adaptive than data mining. Therefore, data mining techniques offer the best combination of detection, analysis, and scalability for identifying and investigating unauthorized transactions. Question number 114, network environments often add to the complexity of program to program communication, making the implementation and maintenance of application systems more difficult. True or false? Option A, true, and option B, false. And the correct option is option A, true. So the statement is true. Network environments introduce additional layers of complexity in program to program communication due to factors like different platforms, protocols, and data formats, latency, bandwidth, and connectivity issues, security concerns, for example, encryption, authentication, and firewalls, and error handling and retries across unreliable or heterogeneous networks. All these aspects make the implementation, integration, and maintenance of application systems more challenging compared to standalone or locally hosted systems. So the statement is true. Question number 115. Risk analysis is not always possible because the IS auditor is attempting to calculate the risk using non quantifiable threats and potential losses. In this event, a fill in the blank risk assessment is more appropriate. Fill in the blanks. Option A, quantitative and qualitative. Option B, qualitative and quantitative. Option C, residual and subjective. And option D, quantitative and subjective. And the correct option is option A, quantitative and qualitative. So, quantitative risk analysis involves assigning numerical values to risks, for example, annual loss expectancy, but it's not always possible due to the lack of reliable data or when dealing with non-quantifiable threats. In such cases, a qualitative risk assessment which uses descriptive ratings like high, medium, and low is more appropriate and practical. So the complete sentence is quantitative risk analysis is not always possible because the IS auditor is attempting to calculate risk using non quantifiable threats and potential losses. In this event, a qualitative risk assessment is more appropriate. Question number 116. What must an IS auditor understand before performing an application audit? Choose the best answer. Option A, the potential business impact of application risks. Option B, application risks must first be identified. Option C, relative business processes. And option D, relevant application risk. And the correct option is option C, relative business processes. So before an IS auditor can effectively audit an application, they must understand what the application is designed to do within the context of the business. This means understanding how the application supports business objective, what problems does it solve, what function does it perform for the business, the input and output of the application, where does the data come from and where does it go, the key users and their roles, who interacts with the application and how, the critical data processed by the application, what information is most important to the business, and the dependencies between the application and other systems and processes. How does it interact with other parts of the IT environment and business operations? Question number 117. What is the first step? What is the first step in a business process re-engineering project? Option A, identifying current business processes. Option B, forming a BPR steering committee. Option C, defining the scope of areas to be reviewed. And option D, reviewing the organizational strategic plan. And the correct option is option D, reviewing the organizational strategic plan. So the first step in a business process re-engineering or BPR project is to review the organizational strategic plan. This ensures that the BPR or business process re-engineering efforts align with the organization's goal and vision. The re-engineering focuses on processes that matter most to the strategic success, and resources are directed efficiently towards value-adding improvements. Other options occur after understanding the strategic context. Option A, identifying current business processes, comes after understanding strategic direction. Option B, forming a BPR steering committee is a management structure that supports but does not initiate the effort. And option C, defining the scope of the areas to be reviewed happens after strategic alignment is clear. Question number 118. When storing data archives offsite, what must be done with the data to ensure data completeness? Option A, the data must be normalized. Option B, the data must be validated. Option C, the data must be parallel tested. And option D, the data must be synchronized. And the correct option is option B, the data must be validated. So when storing data archives off-site, it's critical to ensure that data is complete, accurate, and intact. This is done through data validation, which involves verifying that all expected data has been successfully copied or transferred, ensuring there is no corruption, loss, or truncation during the archiving process, confirming integrity through checksums, hashes, or verification logs. Other options. Option A, normalized, refers to database structures, not data completeness. Option C, parallel tested, used in system migration or implementation, not for validating data archives. And option D, synchronized, ensure data consistency across systems but does not confirm archive completeness. Therefore, validating the data is essential to ensure its completeness when archived off-site. Question number 119. Which of the following can help detect transmission errors by appending specially calculated bits onto the end of each segment of data? Option A, redundancy check. Option B, completeness check. Option C, accuracy checks. And option D, parity check. And the correct option is option A, redundancy check. So a redundancy check involves adding extra bits, that is redundant data, to each segment of transmitted data to help detect transmission errors. These bits are calculated based on the content of the data and allow the receiving system to recalculate and compare the checksum or code, detect whether data has been altered or corrupted during transmission. Common forms of redundancy checks include cyclic redundancy check or CRC and checksum. Other options, option B, completeness check, ensures all required fields or records are present, not for transmission errors. Option C, accuracy check, validates correctness of data values, not transmission integrity. And option D, parity check, is a simple form of redundancy check but more limited. A is the broader and more accurate term. Question number 120. A transaction journal provides the information necessary for detecting unauthorized, fill in the blank from a terminal. Option A, deletion. Option B, input. Option C, access. And option D, duplication. And the correct option is option B, input. So a transaction journal records all transactions entered into a system, building details such as who entered the transaction, when it was entered, and what data was submitted. This log is essential for detecting unauthorized inputs such as transactions that were entered without proper authorization from an unapproved terminal or by an unauthorized user. Other options, option A, deletion, typically monitored through audit trails or change logs. Option C, access, monitored through access logs, not transaction journals. And option D, duplication, detected through duplicate checks, not primarily transaction journal. So the correct sentence is a transaction journal provides the information necessary for detecting unauthorized input from a terminal. So that's all for this video. If you people like more such practice questions, please comment, and I will be happy to produce such more questions, and also like and comment on the video. Thank you and see you in the next video.